So yeah, as I mentioned, we had the release candidate for the modular version of the VOLTTRON code. This has been a major effort the last year or so to take the monolithic code and break it into modules that allow for more tailored deployments and more obvious way of allowing people to engage with the platform where they have the most interest or most need to change some of the code that is running it. And so the driver framework's broken out, the historian's broken out. We're going to be talking later today about the message bus and authorization services, but this modular code base allows people to focus on one of those modules and keep the rest of the platform the same, or pick and choose what they need to use. And so it's a major effort, but we're going to be leveraging it to improve the ability to deploy VOLTTRON in the way that it's needed by each user. So to kind of kick things off, I will turn it over to Craig to go over some of the changes and then kind of run through the quick start guide that's available on the repo. This repository is now over in Eclipse, so that's another item to discuss today. Is we're moving over to the Eclipse infrastructure as we get these releases in. So before I hand it over to Craig, I guess any questions from those attending at this time, or should we just go ahead and launch into it? Okay. Yeah, Craig, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, I suppose I can do that. Let me share my screen, because that's the #1 biggest thing, right? Because be able to see what I'm pointing to. All right, as people have been told and know from a long time, this is a long time coming. This is a big change in the way VOLTTRON has been perceived. As Jeremy alluded to, there are now 24 repositories up here on Eclipse VOLTTRON that we are managing, and hopefully you'll be able to use the packages that are built via PyPy to be able to extend and add. Interesting. Can everybody hear me and see my screen? Let's just verify that real quick.
Yeah, you didn't lose anything with that VPN issue.
Okay. Other than my train of thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 24 repositories out here. Eventually, they will all have code that is installable via PyPy. Some of them are just getting started. Right now, what we have is we have a proof of concept with the fake driver. We have the platform driver. We have an SQLite historian, and hopefully, and we've got a path forward on the next agents to be ported, and we will go from there. And there's thoughts on Docker as well. So we'll get to that as well. But for this intro, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the VOLTTRON core, which is right up here at the top left of our Eclipse VOLTTRON repository organization. And then if we scroll down, we can see the standard little quick starts that we have here. Needs to be a link to the new quick start because we haven't done that yet. But anyways, we are going to be going into quickstart.md. That's the file that we're looking at. And this is basically the setting up of a VOLTTRON using modular and installing 3 agents, the listener, the platform driver with its fake driver base, the fake driver library. And so we go into the difference between a library and an agent and a historian. So let's see what we can do. We'll follow through this entire thing, and we'll go. Shouldn't take too long, and we'll see if this works out for us. So first thing we need is a place to do this on your system. This is the system that is, I have a Ubuntu system here, and we're going to be doing the cut and paste. And you're right, Jeremy, that is annoying, isn't it? So with my markers here that show the distinction between ENV and not ENV, makes it so you can't easily use the plus minus buttons. So we are now in the deployment directory. We're going to create the environment, virtual environment, because I like to keep things separate. And then we can come down here, and the main thing is we're going to install and then start the VOLTTRON. So if install VOLTTRON. And this goes out to PyPy and gets all of the data necessary for PyPy to be installed.
So no need to worry about going to Git for doing an install.
So now that that is installed, we can just simply start VOLTTRON up. What in the blazes? This is the first time this has ever happened.
It could be related to your VPN issue.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh,
No, VOLTTRON is shut down. Well, I think you're right. I think it is to do the VPN issue. Well, this is an ominous beginning. Let's see what we can do. Unfortunately, I didn't create a video for this. Didn't take my own advice.
well, so the main idea though is that you're getting it through Pippy. You don't have to go out to GitHub and pick what to, or, get that all built and everything. You can just do it straight from PyPy. So let's see. Give it another try here. Craig, you're working on it?
He's gone.
Oh, oh, probably because of the VPN. So he'll need to get back in. Sorry about this.
And my stuff just left. I don't know what's up with my network.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. So I'm turning it back to you, Jeremy.
Okay. Here. Let me share my screen real quick so you can see what it would look like. Um,
I think Maurice wants to show us running through it. That would be cool.
yeah, Maurice, if you're
Just
You're
give me
willing
a
to do that?
just give me a couple minutes. I'm just spinning up a droplet,
sure.
and so it's just a blank thing, and then
Okay.
once that's done, or I can give you SSH access, Craig, if you want, and then you can do it. Either way.
No, I'll let you do it.
All right. Okay.
I think that would be awesome.
Sure.
Here's somebody besides me.
All right. 1 sec.
And maybe Maurice is about to show this in the demo, but so what is included in the, well, why don't you just do that standard pip install VOLTTRON? Because before, when you pulled from GitHub, you already had platform driver and pretty much anything that I was needing for what I was working on. Are all those things now a pip install away after you have the base VOLTTRON, or are they already included?
So there's two things there. The agents will be installed via vctl install still, just like you did the other, but they're going to be retrieved from Pippy. Or if you need to install something from a local repository, you can install it from your local repository. So the command that you used before works the exact same. It's just where it gets it from. And if you pass it a directory, it assumes that there will either be a setup.py file for the old style or a poetry TOML file, a PyProject.toml file that will be used to install it with poetry. And obviously that means you have to have poetry installed in order for that one to actually work. But so there's you can get it from Pippy, you can get it from a local, or you can get it from the other local with the different setup. Does that make sense?
It's still just a couple minutes away.
Okay.
So while we're waiting on that, let's talk about the auth and message bus real quick, Jeremy.
Sure, go for it.
So there's been a lot of discussion about separation of auth and message bus in the past few months, and there is an issue out there that has and some code that has a preliminary interface for allowing you to swap those out. So one of the things that we want to do is utilize the new VOLTTRON dev mailing list, as well as customize some user groups so that we can get what the community feels is good. So participation is while not mandatory. If you want to know about swapping out the message bus or different auth types for different things, it would be good to join us. We'll be, I don't know, maybe after the first of the year, we'll probably have a meetup of people who want to do that, and that'll be put out on the VOLTTRON dev mailing list. And we can talk about it and hopefully get it to fulfill all the needs of the community.
Yeah, James, you had last time you had mentioned some interest in that.
Yeah, I am interested. I took a look at the current abstract superclass for the message bus, and it's pretty basic.
It is pretty basic. Yes.
I think it's, I mean, it doesn't have publish or subscribe in it or any other, so I mean, basically, there's two underlying ways the people use message bus. One is point to point, and the other is publish subscribe. And I think, I mean, my feeling is that both of those should be supported in the abstract superclass. So that way, basically, you can do the. I mean, I think most of VOLTTRON uses publish subscribe. And I think you could probably, the VIP bus, for example, I think you could just, if you use the abstract methods, then, when you bind it to the plugin, it'll get to whatever kind of message bus you decided you want to use. So that's kind of, otherwise you have specific methods for then you have to go down one level and the abstraction gets broken if you don't actually have those at the.
Well, okay, like I said, this is something that we can definitely discuss and see, because the goal was, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing you need is a way to connect. So what you want to do is give it a URL, and that'll connect to the server, basically, to the message bus. Like if you're using MQTT, it's Mosquito or something like that. I know that I don't think that ZMQ has I think they go directly between the clients, but many message like RabbitMQ and MQTT have intermediaries involved. So I think there needs to be some way to connect.
Yeah, the way that there's a ZMQ connection that is the connection between ZMQ and whatnot. The goal, I think, with the message bus was that instead of so the publish and stuff would automatically already be there because of the agent, and the infrastructure that it provides.
Right.
The agent would actually understand that this is a message bus. It would understand the publish and subscribe methods that would be there already. So like I said, we'll have to talk about it and see if we can come up with the right infrastructure that abstracts everything that we need.
Yeah. Now, as far as the authentication goes, I didn't look into that, so I don't know. I mean, I didn't look at what the API currently is for that. It seems to be that it's primarily oriented towards the authentication for the for ZMQ, the message bus, and I actually think basically there may be need for more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yes, that's kind of true. What we're trying to do is continue using the auth file that we have, except instead of having the public key in there, we will have something that's called a credential, which is an opaque version of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we were headed with that. The auth service would manage that file.
Okay.
And then that would be the way that we would be able to, and you can put a base64 encoded public key from a certificate in there, or a certificate string, or whatever was necessary.
How about an OAuth
to make that work?
How about an OAuth2 JWT? Would that be another thing?
Yep, that would be another one. Yep.
Okay. I mean, so that'll work for the communication, but I'm wondering about workload. Basically, yeah, I suppose maybe if you had the if you wanted to just if they, I mean, so here's an attack scenario. Someone makes an agent which can't actually authenticate into the message bus, but it starts up and crashes the machine. Now, I mean, one could say that, well, we push that back on the installation and it's up to them to figure it out.
Are we talking a DOS attack?
No, I mean, basically it's not necessarily that it's stopping the communication, but rather it comes up and it crashes the platform somehow. So, I mean, that would be a case where you could say, all right, well, then you push it back onto the installation and you'd have to have some kind of like a software installation certificate or something. Or the other way you could do it is before you start it, you have to check if the agent's got a certificate and that's what Spiffy does basically. And I mean, so that's another level of potential issues that could come up with cybersecurity. I mean, they don't gain any benefit from it, but they disrupt your service.
Sure. All right, Maurice says that he's ready
Okay.
anytime. You want to make him a presenter, and like I said, so we'll send out a meeting invite or a doodle poll or something onto the VOLTTRON dev mailing list, giving a wide range of locations, and we'll record all of these, and these will be all available too. So everything in the open.
You guys can see my screen?
Yep.
So this is a DigitalOcean droplet that's brand new, Ubuntu 22. And it will be destroyed after this, so don't worry about the password being visible. And this is a randomly generated password, so nothing to do with anything else. Okay, so this is the pip install. So it started, tail-f, VOLTTRON log. Let me know if you want me to stop anywhere or anything like that. I'm just going through the demo.
Yep, no, that works.
So status, I did this on the other screen. So now we'll install the listener.
So this is the one that is not using vCTL. We're installing the library so that it's available to the platform driver when we are modifying. So the library would be, we also have we're working on libraries for Modbus and BACnet, and you can extend your own libraries to work with other things. So that's, but you still have the platform driver itself.
I'm just gonna So now do the historian.
And this shows that our agents not only handle JSON, but they also handle YAML files as their main configuration files. That does not work in the config store, but it works for the initial agent config.
Oh, saw the driver data go by.
Google status. So everything's running. And if I install this, or is it 3? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, because I'm in
tap dash get.
and then maybe not that. I think because I'm as an
You need
environment
also to have install.
app.gas install. Sorry.
Oh,
And
no
add the
worries.
3 on the end.
I think it got it anyways. It's 3, it looks like. But
I
as you
don't
can
think it
see,
got the 3.
yeah. But as you can see on the right, so we've got VOLTTRON running with a listener and a fake driver that's spitting out data into the log. So that's got the essential components of the VOLTTRON platform. And Maurice, yeah.
What's the table? I can't remember.
Dot schema.
I'll just go select star from topics. So you can see.
Yep.
You can do a dot schema to show you the schema.
Okay. Dot schema. There you go. So
Great.
I think that's everything, right?
That's it.
All right.
Great.
I'll stop sharing and destroy this droplet.
Great. Thanks a lot, Maurice, for pitch hitting there.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I think that, that allows you to script the installation of the platform and an initial setup. And this is the first release candidate for this version of the platform. So as Craig mentioned, there's other agents that will be brought over as modules, including the BACnet driver and others. But we're excited to get to this point and start engaging with everybody on building this out and making this working on the deployment process and getting this full featured and ready as the production release. And until that time, 8.2 is still production, but we're going to be working on building this out. Craig, anything else that you wanted to add?
Nope, I'm not going to add anything else right now.
Okay. So I guess right off, any questions about that process or comments, or if you get a chance, as Maurice showed, it's out there available for everyone to try. We'd love for everyone to give it a whirl and let us know any issues they ran into, and continue to work with us as we build that out. Yeah, James.
What about Docker?
So I wanted to talk with you about what you're expecting a base Docker image to do. I would like to work on that with you.
Sure.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah,
How's that sound?
that sounds fine. Yeah, we can do that. Yep. we can coordinate for a time if you want to do that, or we could. I don't know that we need to kind of take up everybody's time right now, but we can.
Right, let's do that.
We can take the end of this and folks can drop
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Right. So I think the way you want it to work is that you can pull in separate agents into the into a container, and have a container could have one agent or many agents depending on how you wanted to do it. And because that would be modular in the system sense and not in the Python sense. And then you could have the agents be deployed kind of without having to. I mean, one of the issues that with 8 release is that essentially every time you deploy an agent, you have to kind of fire up Python and download everything, or so I think being able to have a binary distributable file that you don't have to do that with would really help, because a lot of times you might be in a situation where it might be hard to get internet access, or there might be some other issue with that, or you might want to have it heavily pre-configured and not have it open to other things happening depending on the environment, which, as we just saw in your demo, may or may not work. So that's kind of the things that I'm sort of, I think we need to do with the Docker file. And
Okay.
If we want to talk more, we can talk over email or separately if you have any questions or not clear.
Sure. All right. Well, great. Thanks. Yeah, if there's more to chat, you and Craig can hit the end of this or take it on email. Let's see. Mark, you had an update on BACnet. Did you want to chat about that real quick?
Sure. So as part of the effort to move towards to modular VOLTTRON, currently in the process of moving out or migrating key drivers or common drivers that folks use that we support, and one of them is BACnet driver. And I was working on it the last couple of days and finally got it working. It's not published on PyPy yet, but I can do a real quick demo of how that would look like once it is published. So similar to what Maurice displayed, showing the platform driver and the fake driver, and showing all the points there, I'll demonstrate an actual real driver and how it's how would one use it within VOLTTRON 10. So I'll do a real quick demo here. It shouldn't take too long. Let me share my screen. Let's see, share screen. iTerm. Okay. Share. Okay. Oh man, that has it in the way. Right. I shrink this. Okay, so I'm going to skip all the parts of installing VOLTTRON and platform driver. We'll just assume it's already installed, as we saw earlier with Maurice's demo. So on the left side, I have my virtual environment created and VOLTTRON currently running. So if I do a vctl status, I can see that I have both a listener and a platform driver installed. On the right, I'm actually telling the logs to show what's happening, what's getting published on the message bus here. So I'm going to demonstrate now the case of where you want to install a BACnet driver and use it to connect to a real BACnet device. So the first step is we need to install first a BACnet proxy. So ideally, you would want to do like vctl install, and then VOLTTRON -backnet -proxy, and then you would give your agent config and then you know, the path to your agent config. But since it is not currently published on PyPy, I'm going to have to install it from my local version or working version of VOLTTRON backnet proxy. So could use my control R here, vctl install VOLTTRON. There it is. Oops. Keep in mind here that I have a what's it called, a backnet proxy configuration already for my agent. So if I were to cat it right now, you can see that I have my agent configuration already set, and this is specific to my machine. So now I'm going to install the backnet proxy agent. So I do vctl install, and I'm just going to give it a local path. vctl dot. Let's to go up one more. Backnet proxy. Then my agent config would be backnet proxy config. And then I am going to give it a tag of BP, short for backnet proxy, and then I'm going to have it start automatically. You can see on the logs here that our agent's getting created. And then if we were to validate to make sure that it is installed, you can see that our proxy agent is now running. Now, next step is that we have to install our backnet or our backnet driver library. If I were to do a pip list right now, you can notice here that I just have VOLTTRON backnet proxy, lib-based driver, listener, and platform driver. Since we've broken out our monolith into several module pieces, we have to now install our backnet driver library. So ideally what you want to do is, if it was published on PyPy, you do pip install VOLTTRON lib backnet driver, but since it's not there yet, I'm gonna have to install from a local version or my working version. So I'll do pip install -e, up one more, up to modular, then down to lib backnet driver. Right, so I'm installing my backnet driver library. If we're to confirm, we do a pip list. You can see here, now I have a backnet driver. And then the final step is not too different from what we currently do with configuring our platform driver with a backnet driver. If we do, we look at our platform driver right now, vctl config list platform.driver, we'll notice here that we don't have any configurations for our backnet driver. So what we'll do is we'll configure it using the config store. So our first step would be to add our registry points, the points that we want to read or write to on our backnet device. So if I were to cat our current CSV file, you notice here that I just have one point that I care about, which is this, I think 3820A/ or 3820A/field something, then chiller. So there's only one point that I care about, at least for this toy example. So we need to add that onto the platform driver. So if we, I'll run this command, config store, I'm going to add the CSV file to the platform driver. And then on top of that, we need to add a configuration for our driver itself. So if we were to cat backnet1.config, see here that there's my device address, the driver type, and the registry file it wants to use. So we'll need to install that as well onto the platform driver. So I'll run my config store command. My topic is called devices backnet, and here's the configuration I want to use. And then finally, if I want to confirm that both those have been installed on the platform driver, we'll see here that it's currently on the platform driver. And then if we look here on the logs, we should see the point, the chiller point, and the temperature for that specific device. Oh, there it is. So it's right now it's at 61 degrees currently, and this is I believe a backnet device on campus, from what I recall. Yeah, and so again, to show VCTL status, there's a backnet proxy installed first, and again, all our drivers are installed as well, and we verified here that we can see those points being published on the message bus. So yeah, so that's my demo for the backnet driver. It is currently in PR, and we're still making some final changes on it, but that should be available for use sometime in the near future.
Great.
And-
Thanks,
The
Mark.
one thing to notice on this is that you didn't have to restart the platform driver in order for it to pick it up. I wasn't sure if that was going to happen or not. That was pretty cool.
Thanks, Mark.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, once that's out there, then this modular release is beyond the just the modular platform for demonstration. Then it can start collecting data and get closer to being a production ready system, and we'll be deploying it on our campus once that's out there, and putting it through its paces, and look forward to anybody else who's able to do that. James has a question about, there's some discussion a while back about revising the backnet architecture. Is that still under consideration? And Mark and Craig, if you want to take that, but I'll just say that, yeah, I think that's part of breaking it into this modular format. We can have groups around different modules and work on any design improvements and get the community involved in taking this forward. But Mark and Craig, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about it. I think a couple things. One of them being that the getting rid of the need for a proxy is one of those things that we are thinking about. And for getting it just into modular, we wanted to just use what we had because we know it works. From there, I think that would definitely be something, and updating to the latest version of that types is another thing that we want to do, or if there's another implementation that would be better for communicating with backnet, that's certainly under advisement. So all of these things are things that we're thinking about. Did you have anything else, Mark?
No. I was going to say the same thing. Our goal is just to get a working or a stable version out there, and then build upon that, and then hopefully get more folks involved and to help with the design discussions, and then also the actual changes as well. And yeah, so one big piece is getting away from that, having to install a backnet proxy agent, which is one thing that's been on my plate and wanting to change as well. But yeah.
Great, thanks. All right, so yeah, thanks, James. Yeah, I think, you know, like I said, this opens up a lot of different ways for changes to be made to the platform, and, you know, kind of be isolated in those modules, so people can be working on a module and it doesn't impact the rest of the platform. And potentially you could have multiple different implementations of certain functionality that would be allowed via this. So yeah, looking forward to having some good working groups arranged around these different modules as people are doing the design and implementation of it. And we'll get into some more details about that at upcoming office hours and user meetings. And speaking of user meetings, we originally had one slated for December, but I've heard from several people that you know, it's holidays, everybody's pretty busy. So thinking of pushing that to early mid-January. I assume that would work out better for folks on this call as well. I guess if anybody has a strong preference to keep a user meeting in December, let me know. Otherwise, I think we'll probably move it to January. And then one other comment, Craig posted the mailing list link in the chat. So that's the mailing list under the Eclipse infrastructure, and we'll be, you know, our goal is to move over to that infrastructure now that we've got the code into the Eclipse repository. Part of that will also be switching over to some of their infrastructure for issue tracking and building groups and that sort of thing. But the first one we'll be taking a look at is the mailing list. And so we'll be retiring the current Lyris mailing list in favor of the Eclipse mailing list. That won't happen immediately, but hoping sometime in January we can continue, you know, or make that switch permanent. So encourage everyone to go out and subscribe to that Eclipse VOLTTRON mailing list. As part of that, I believe you'll have to create an Eclipse account, but that, you know, shouldn't be a problem. And then also, if you have any interest in contributing code, encourage folks to sign the Eclipse contributor agreement. And I think you can do that through your Eclipse account once you have that set up. And we can cover all this at the user meeting or future office hours as people run into questions, and just make sure that we help onboard everybody and move the project to its next phase here. All right, well, thanks. Oh, yeah, someone.
I was just going to say, I was trying to create an Eclipse account here a second ago. I've been having some issues with that. Has anyone else encountered problems setting up an account?
What kind of issue are you running into?
It just says there's a problem with your form submission. Please refresh the page and try again. But I haven't.
Oh,
It's not giving me any like they usually tell you what's wrong. You know, I'll try on a different browser or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'll try.
Okay. Yeah, and if that continues, let us know. Or ping the Eclipse folks, because yeah, that's weird. Yeah, we haven't run into that, but like I said, it could be a browser issue, it could be a temporary server issue or something.
Sure. Yeah, I'll let you know. Thanks.
Okay, great. Thanks. All right. Well, thanks everybody for getting on, and like I said, we're excited to work with you all on this next phase of the project. And thanks, Maurice, for the demonstration. I think that was great to get a member of the, you know, one of the users doing that demo. See, Craig and James, if there's anything else you wanted to do on the Docker discussion, we can do that now.
I don't know. I don't have anything. Craig, do you have anything you want to talk about right now? Or I mean, maybe we should think about it a little bit.
Well, so are we still recording, Jeremy?
Yeah, we'll call the meeting, and this is parking lot, and then I will
Yeah,
stop recording.